What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Backpacking Podcast. As always, John Kelly here with Jeremiah, the king of Kentucky backpacking. Stringer, what's going on, dude?
Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm here with John Kelly, the king of Kentucky backpacking.
That is not true. I am not the king. I am merely part of the king's court.
I'm not the king either. I'm just part of the kingdom.
I don't know. Jason said you're the king now.
Yeah.
Because he's the emperor.
Because he's the emperor.
Yeah.
He rules all.
He rules all.
Emperor is a cool title.
That's a really cool title.
I need to, you know those little things that people put on their desk that's got the little name badge and their title?
We need to get one for Jason.
We need to get one for him. We'll mail it to him, and we'll put Emperor of Kentucky backpacking.
I like that.
And then he can put that, well, he doesn't really use a desk. Maybe just put it on the dash of his truck because that's pretty much his desk.
For Father's Day, it was either last year or the year before, my daughter picked out one of those for me.
Uh-huh.
She couldn't even read, but she picked it out. Best dad ever.
How did she do that?
On my desk. I don't know. My wife doesn't even know. Like, she goes, I don't know how she picked this out, but she picked it out for you.
Well, backpacking with Dad. Father's Day's coming up.
It is, man. It's in a few weeks.
Yeah. I guess, let's see, a couple weeks away?
Yeah.
June 19th. Dude, June is always so busy for me. June, I have, if you listen to last week's episode, you already know, but we are recording this right now in this lovely coffee shop in Nicholasville, Kentucky.
Yes, Monos Coffee Crafters.
Yes. So shout out to them for hosting us. And we do have some other people in here, but it's awesome. Great ambiance. You may hear some people getting their coffee made and walking around.
Yep, and that's also if you're watching and you see the lighting's a little different.
Yeah,
that's the reason for all that. That's all this is all about. So,
but June, yeah, it's super busy for me. We got my wedding anniversary on the 18th.
Nice.
Father's Day's on the 19th. My wife's birthday's on the 20th, and then the first day of summer is the 21st.
See, for me, I leave on Saturday and I go to Honduras. And then I get back, and the next week is Father's Day.
Wow.
And that weekend, my wife is taking the kids, and they're going to see her dad. So they get to spend like a couple days with him. And while they're gone, I'm going to be in the woods.
You got to get some woods time,
So
man.
I get some woods time, and then they get back Saturday night, and I get Father's Day with my kids. And then at the end of June, I've got some stuff going on. But yeah, dude, June's a fun month.
June, so you're going to Honduras. You doing mostly mission work there?
I'm going down and doing a camp for missionary kids.
Okay.
So I'm doing that for a week.
So not backpacking related?
No, not backpacking, but I'll be outdoors the whole time.
Well, at least you'll be outdoors.
And it'll be hot as Hades.
The dog days of summer, man.
Dude, I'm telling you. In Honduras.
Yeah, it's going to be fun June, man. I'm going to, I'll try to get to the Smokies in June. And, my South Dakota trip. It is in June. Oh,
man. I'm pumped to hear how that goes.
Yes. And did I tell you how I had to book the flight and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be a long drive even after the flight. But I still don't understand. I guess just the airports in South Dakota are small.
Probably. I mean, there's not that many people that live in those places.
No, I think it's like a special trip that they had to do. Like, it's not very often scheduled.
I will say, if you're someone who wants to get off grid, South Dakota is a great place to go. And another reason why it's great is because it's so cheap. Like,
what's so cheap?
Say you sell your house for, say the house you live in now, you sell for like $350,000. You could probably buy a house similar to that in South Dakota for like $100,000.
You think so?
I'm not even kidding you. If you want to go to one of these little towns like where there's nobody around, absolutely. Because like we were there, I mean it's been like 6 years ago now, but there were houses that would have been selling for $250,000 here in Lexington that were selling for like $35,000 there.
Well, Kentucky's so you know everybody's mind gas prices, right? That affects everything.
Right.
So. Kentucky had like the lowest gas prices. I guess the cost of living in South Dakota is so low too. But it's like there's nothing there. There's nothing there. Like,
well, that's what I mean. If you want to get off grid,
off grid.
Definitely, it's a great place to go.
At school, our principal secretary, her and her husband both have motorcycles, right? And her and I have a motorcycle, and
which you rode here today.
I did. I rode it here today.
And I looked at you driving into the parking lot and thought to myself, I'm extremely jealous.
Don't be too jealous, man.
Oh, I am. I'm terribly jealous. One, for the gas prices for you to drive up here, which is a whole lot cheaper than driving a car.
Yeah.
And two, it's a motorcycle. And let's just be honest, when you ride a motorcycle, you just look cooler than everybody else.
You're automatically cooler. That's just a fact.
That's
stamp
just
of
absolute
approval
fact.
there.
Yeah.
But with the South Dakota thing, they rode their bikes out there. They hit Montana, Wyoming, South Dakota. They made like a big loop, drove their bikes out west, and then like went through some states, and then went up above and like made a loop, so they hit different states.
Is Sturgis in South Dakota, or is that in?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where there's a huge biker rally out there every year.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
That's not for the faint of heart. There's some things that you're going to see there you're not going to see anywhere else. It
That's
gets
the truth.
wild.
That's the truth.
Yeah, imagine thousands of bikers. That's crazy.
It's crazy. And I've seen pictures and video of it. It's crowded, man. We're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of motorcycles.
Oh, yeah. And she told they weren't going to Sturgis, but she told me that whenever they rode their bikes out, South Dakota, Wyoming, Montana, she said that the little towns out there, like you got to think people expanded west in the U.S., right?
Right.
So they hit that East Coast and kept going. And she was like, those little towns hardly have changed since they've been built. She's like, they got the same saloons, the same names,
Yeah.
etc. So I can't wait, dude. I think that we're going to try to start at Mount Rushmore. How epic is that?
I'm going to prepare you for this.
Oh, is this going to disappoint me?
I'm preparing you so you won't be disappointed.
Okay.
Are you going to see Devil's Tower?
I don't know what we're doing.
Okay. Mount Rushmore's not that impressive.
Start at Devil's Tower?
It's very, this is the best way I can put it. I went there in 2002.
Uh-huh.
I went to Mount Rushmore, and I went to Devil's Tower.
Uh-huh.
Mount Rushmore was just like a tourist trap. They got like ice cream stores and all this stuff all there. And
I don't think we're actually going to the tourist.
It's just it was whatever.
Uh-huh.
Devil's Tower,
Uh-huh.
freaking sweet.
You don't think it's overrated?
Devil's Tower?
Uh-huh.
No.
I watched a video that Backpacking with Buckley put out where he went to Devil's Tower, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And he was like, it's not super backpacker friendly.
It's not super backpacker friendly, but it's just awesome.
Yeah, but
Like
you can hike around there.
Yeah, there's some things that like, who cares if it's backpacking or
Uh-huh.
it's just awesome. Like
Yeah,
you get there,
geological.
you just see it and you're like, this is one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life.
I'd definitely like to see it because going out west, I've never.
I mean, there was a giant bear that made Devil's Tower.
Oh my God! Yeah, did we talk about this?
Well, I think we did.
Yeah, the giant bear
Going
that
after the Indian that was
clawing up the tower.
Now, I say Indian because that was the story. Native American is correct in what you're supposed to say, but that's the story.
Yeah, they said Indian at the top with the bear trying to catch him.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm definitely June's super busy because of all the backpacking and the other stuff.
Right.
But that South Dakota trip, that and my wife's birthday and her wedding anniversary are all going to be major highlights.
You got a good month coming up, man.
Especially the anniversary and the birthday.
You're going to have to take a nap in July.
July, I have this music festival I'm going to in Michigan.
Oh, yeah, you might be taking my air conditioner with you.
Yes. So that's like the only thing I have planned. But July, I think that's going to be some lake time. We went to the lake yesterday.
Yeah.
And swam. Lake's still cold, but in July, it'll be.
Yeah, we did pool time. We did pool time yesterday for Memorial Day.
Well, you almost want it cold, If it's 90 degrees out, 70-degree water, 65-degree water.
Okay, maybe not that cold.
I mean, it was cold, but after you're in there for a while,
I get used to
I'm just making up the numbers. I have no idea. I have no idea what the
65-degree water is like almost hypothermia, I think.
Well, that last episode that we did about the where we done the creek crossing or whatever, I guarantee that water's in the 50s. It had to be.
That's cold.
All rainwater coming off all the
that's
the
cold.
mountains and stuff.
That's so cold.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, June's going to be fun. But I know we had something else to talk about on this.
Well,
episode.
I was going to say, man, like, anybody who's watched my YouTube channel or Jeremiah's channel, we are not ultralight backpackers. Like, probably not even close to ultralight backpackers.
No.
But I'm realizing as I am creeping up towards that 50 number for an age, that my body is not as spry as it once was. I can't take the beating I used to be able to take and recover as quickly. And so I'm realizing that I need to make some shifts in my gear to make backpacking a little more enjoyable, especially if I want to do mileage days. Like if we want to do 10 or more miles, I don't want to have 35, 40 pounds on my back. No. I'd much rather have that closer to 20 pounds. And so I recently received a backpack from Z-Packs. It's the Arc Haul Ultra. It's a 60-liter backpack that can hold 40 pounds, but it only weighs 20 ounces.
It just doesn't make sense. The physics don't make sense.
It doesn't seem to make any sense, but it's only 20 ounces. So it's not even a pound and a half. And I've started, and this is painful for me to say, but I've been using a tent. I promised myself I would use a tent all summer, even though I hate it. I really do. I don't like sleeping in a tent, but I said I would, and so I am. I'm going to stick to my word for the summer, and I'm going to sleep in a tent for the summer, just so that, when I'm talking on my channel, I'm doing reviews, I have the right to talk about tents because I actually sleep in one sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that all summer, but my tent is the Gossamer Gear the 2, and it weighs less than 2 pounds.
Yeah, another quality piece of gear.
That's
so you got
really lightweight.
The Z-Packs backpack, and you have the Gossamer Gear tent.
Yeah, so 2 of my big 3 right now are like around 3 pounds for the 2 of them combined. Right around 3, maybe a little over 3 pounds.
That's where most of your weight's coming from, is backpack, shelter, sleep system.
Yeah, and on my sleep system, the heaviest part of my sleep system is my sleeping pad. I got the Ultralight XT from Sea to Summit. I will not skimp on that.
No, your sleeping pad is so important.
4 inches thick.
4
and
inches
it's a quilted one, so it's got, instead of like baffles, like horizontal or vertical baffles, it's quilted.
What does that mean?
It's got the different, like if you look at it, it's got like spots all over it. So it's a quilted style sleeping pad.
It's almost like dimpled all over.
It's dimpled all over. So it's way more comfortable, way fewer pressure points on it, and it is really comfortable for a sleeping pad.
Well, I use the X-Lite, the Neo Air X-Lite on my through hiking the long trail.
Yeah.
So that's sleeping for a month straight.
That's a horizontal baffle.
Yeah, it's got horizontal baffles, which in my opinion, are better than the vertical, because
I do agree with that.
The vertical, if you got your arm the wrong way, your arm could go to sleep because you're kind of laying across the baffle and it's putting pressure. Right. So maybe not the vertical. Those are pretty popular. I think the Big Agnes.
Well, the Nemo Tensor does horizontal baffles just like that.
My Nemo Tensor has like dimples all over it too. It's got like a dimple every.
I've got an older one.
Oh, okay.
I got an older one.
It might be a different design. I don't know.
Yeah, but I will say dimples, man. That quilted style, it's really comfortable. And it weighs a pound and 6 ounces.
Is it like diamonds?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like a pound and 6 ounces, so it's still not super heavy.
That's pretty normal weight too.
So that, and then I have like a 2-ounce pillow, and the quilt that I'm using for the summer, because it just gets hot down here. Like it doesn't get below 70 degrees most nights.
Yeah, it's
in
tough
Kentucky in the summer.
Too.
So and in a tent it gets way warmer than it does in a hammock. And so so for my top quilt, I got a Loco Libre 50 degree. Weighs like I think around 10 or 11 ounces.
It's a quilt.
Yeah.
Sewn in foot box or
no,
button?
No. Zip, so I can leave it open.
Zip.
In the summertime, I don't want something that's closed. I want it open, because if it gets really hot, which it can, I want it off my feet.
That's the thing, man. With all my winter stuff, it all is sewn in foot box or sleeping bag.
For winter's great, yeah.
Yeah, but like Jason's always complaining about, he has a top quilt that is snap button. A lot of them snap around your neck too.
Yeah,
got the snap at the top. So if you imagine those snaps at the bottom, but then if you move around the tops of your calves area, you can accidentally unsnap that. Right? Yeah, and then you get cold drafts.
It's better to have one that zips than one that snaps.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, this one zips. This one zips up.
That's a win.
So it's nice. And here's the thing though, I bought it for summer. I didn't want a sleeping bag for summer because it's too hot.
Yeah.
And I wanted something that was really lightweight. It's 950 fill.
Wow, that's as light as it gets, man.
It's 950 fill. It's rated to 50 degrees. Bro, I'm like literally my big 3 is right around 5 pounds.
So the 950 fill, that's like the highest volume that's going to be taken up by the insulation.
Typically,
with
they do have
1,000
fill. They do have 1,000 fill.
Okay.
But apparently, like with 1,000 fill, it's almost like powder. Like the way the feathers are. So like to use it, you have to be in a room where you're wearing like a lab coat and it has to be dust free and all this other stuff to be able to use it. It's weird. Like,
yeah, and I heard that they had to kill baby ducklings to get that. I don't know if that's true.
I have no idea.
1,000 fill, you heard it here first. 1,000 fill only comes from baby ducks and baby geese.
Baby ducklings. Baby ducklings.
You pick it right off their chest.
It's horrible. It's a horrible thing. And they don't even, never mind, I'm not going any further with it. But anyway,
I just made that up. That's not true.
So I've got my big 3 right around 5 pounds for the summer, which is really light.
Dude, it's super light, and you're going to have a lot less achy knees, too.
Yeah, and so, like, when you add in the other stuff, I'm probably looking at a base weight around 9 pounds, even with my chair.
I never thought I'd see the day.
I never thought I'd see the day. But I'm not complaining. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not complaining because, like, the next heaviest piece of gear I have besides that is a battery bank.
Oh, yeah. What, you got a 10,000 milliamp hour? 20?
I have a 20, but it weighs, I think, 10 or 11 ounces.
So why you take the 20 over the 10?
It just depends on the trip.
Oh, okay.
I've got a 10 that I can take.
Yeah.
But if I'm doing, I'm thinking heaviest weight that I would be taking this summer would be if I'm doing like 4 or 5 days, I'm going to bring the 20 because I have cameras and I have other stuff that I bring with me. So, and if I throw the cameras into my base weight, then I will be over 10 pounds.
Oh, you weren't including your camera?
No, if I go and I just decide to use my phone and not use the camera, which is typically what I do anyways with a lot of trips, especially if it's a long time. I'm not one of these people that makes a lot of money doing YouTube, so I can't just replace a camera real easy. So
yeah, dude,
with rain and stuff like that,
submerge that camera, you're gonna be hurting.
And I got a new fanny pack from Hilltop Packs, and it's made with the what is it, the I can't remember. It's a form of the Ultra, but it's like a 75, and it's super lightweight. They make the food bags out of it too. I think the fanny pack weighs like 1.5 ounces.
Waterproof?
Yeah.
Is that what the camera's going in?
If I take it.
Oh, okay.
If I take it. I'm not convinced I'm going to take my camera on every trip. I don't do trip videos anyways. I may do B-roll and stuff like that for other videos, like if I'm using new gear and want to video that, or I see like a really cool scene or a waterfall. And a lot of times what I'm doing is I'm taking pictures to bring back to show my family anyways.
You know what Casey Neistat says? You know who Casey Neistat is?
Oh, yeah.
If you don't know, he's got a huge following on YouTube, and it's all vlog.
It's just a few million.
Every bit of it's vlog. And yeah, it's like 10, 15 million.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He's like almost the inventor of the vlog. Like, he made it popular.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to be like Casey Neistat. Yep. Anyway, his advice is always like, if there's footage that you want, use whatever the best camera is available. So if you're out and you're on your skateboard and you're in the middle of Manhattan, you don't have your camera, right? You don't have a $5,000 rig. You have your Samsung phone. Galaxy or your iPhone or whatever. Yep. You just get that footage. Anything is better than nothing. Then the worst that happens, you don't use it.
Yeah, that's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: is like I'm realizing now that I'm looking at ultralight being a very possible need at this point. Like, it's something I may not have an option of because of, like I said, I'm just getting older, and I want to be able to do this for another 30 years from now. You know, I want to be 78 and still be backpacking. But if I want to be able to do that, I've got to do things to preserve myself so that I can do this long term. And so the ultralight thing has become a reality now for me, where it wasn't, 5 years ago when I first got started doing all this.
It's a priority now.
Yeah, it really is. But what's kind of fun about it is now I'm kind of like going, I can't wait to go on that first trip. And we get out the scale and everybody's weighing their thing, and I hand it to them, and they just grab it and go, what? Before they even weigh it, that look of like, what?
Yeah, like, this is so light.
What are you, is there anything in here? Like that kind of thing.
That's a good feeling.
Yeah.
But that's not, your mindset is different than the majority, I feel like, that do the ultralight. Because a lot of times people do the ultralight because they want to be able to do higher mileage days, which is not something I'm super into. But, like, for example, we had on Hunter.
Right.
And he is an ultralighter, and that's because he wants to hike 30 miles a day. And it's a lot easier to do when you got 10 pounds on your back than it is with 30.
Right.
Because your body really takes a beating. If you think about how hard it is to take a 30-pound weight vest and just go climb mountains all day for multiple days straight, that's tough.
Yeah.
So I think that
well, and he's working with Waymark right now. Like, he's got a Waymark. I think he's got the Evolve backpack from Waymark, and they're doing an ultra version of the Evolve pack.
So a different material.
It's the same material I've got for my Z-Packs backpack. So that thing, I mean, mine's 20 ounces. I would bet the one that he's got is under a pound. It's frameless, so that's a lot of the weight savings on it. And it's also only like a 30 liter, 35 liter backpack, whereas mine's a 60 liter.
I think you're going to have a lot of extra room.
Well, here's the thing. I don't use a lot of stuff sacks. So
you're going to put it in there?
I'll be able to like kind of just like with my sleeping pad or my quilt, I'm not going to have to shove it all the way in the bottom and compress it at all.
I wonder if you can get basically the same compression with a stuff sack versus just putting it into your backpack and pressing it. I don't think you can. I think it's pretty close.
I think it's way off.
I think that I don't know how to measure it.
It's because here's the thing, like there's nothing holding it in place. Like
when you
put it in the sack and you get it down to that small, like I could probably take this quilt that I have and get it down to the size of a water bottle. I probably could. I'm not going to do that pushing it down to the bottom of my backpack. Not a chance.
I bet you get pretty close to like, okay, well, you're saying for your backpack you have a lot of extra space. You don't even have to worry about that.
Yeah, I'm not even going to worry about it.
But whenever I pack my backpack and maybe it's wintertime and I'm compressing those down, I still don't use compression sacks. I have in the past, but then it makes like a little egg, and then that egg has a bunch of empty space around it because it's a weird shape. And when you put multiple of those together, it's like rocks in a jar, and you can still pour a bunch of sand in there. There's a bunch of wasted space.
That's why I quit using them. Honestly, that's why I don't even use stuff sacks for sleeping but for sleeping bags or quilts.
No,
because for me, and you probably know this too, when you pack a backpack, you want the weight to be well dispersed, but you also want it to be a solid backpack. You don't want spaces where it pushes in, and because that means you could be hiking and stuff could shift.
Yeah.
And move into that space. And that could throw the weight off on your backpack and make it very uncomfortable. And so for me, I just realized when I don't use those stuff sacks for the sleeping bags or for the quilts, it just makes it very easy for me to organize the inside of my backpack in such a way where stuff's not moving.
I like to compress mine down as much as possible. And I put stuff, so normally I do like sleeping bag or like anything down goes at the bottom.
Right, same here.
And then I compress it all as much as I can. And then I'll put my clothes there with it, either tucked in front of it or behind it, or just like push down on it. And I'll put everything that I want to keep dry inside that Nylafume bag. And then I will press it down as much as possible and then trap it compressed without any air getting in there and like twist it up and then tuck it.
And your food bag goes on top of that.
Food bag and, anything else that I want to stick in there. But I think that I get pretty close to what I would have gotten with the stuff sack. I don't know how close. What percent?
I don't think you do.
You think that you gain 30% volume with the compression sack?
At least, yeah.
I just don't know, man.
But here's the thing. It's like you said, though, but in doing that, then you've got these weird spaces. Now, some people, like, I will say this, Darwin. I mean, you can't complain about how that dude backpacks because he's a beast.
Yeah.
And he puts everything in stuff sacks.
Yeah, and that's okay.
I think it also comes down to just really how often do you do it. Because if you do it a lot, you probably know how to do it with the stuff sacks and not have those weird spaces because you just do it all the time. But I know for me, I find it easier just to shove them down on the bottom if it's inside of for me, it's a garbage disposal bag.
Yeah.
I just stick it in one of those, or trash compactor, not garbage disposal bags. Could you imagine putting a bag in your garbage disposal? That would be fun. A trash compactor bag. I put everything in that, and like you do, I twist the top and I push it down and make sure there's no air in it, and then I put my food bag on top of that, and usually that's the last thing that goes in is my food bag, and then I close everything up.
Those Nylafume bags, I'm a bigger fan of those than the compactor bag, because I bought like a whole roll of those, like the white ones at Walmart, and I still have a ton left, but they weigh, like if you want to be a real gram weenie about it, they weigh more, like
oh yeah, they do
quite a bit more than
like an ounce more or something like that.
Yeah, so you could save yourself a little bit of weight But usually I don't worry that much about it unless I'm really concentrating in on going as ultralight as possible.
The thing for me was the backpack.
Mm-hmm. Oh, your big 3 are huge.
If I can get the big 3 to be lighter, the extra things aren't that big of a deal if I can get that big 3 really light. And the backpack was the big one. Because the backpack, I'm going, man, my backpacks, all of them weigh like 32 ounces. Which I mean, that's still like considered ultralight.
Yeah.
You know, it's 2 pounds. But when I saw that I could get a backpack that could carry the same weight, was actually bigger, had more room in it than the ones I have.
It's a win-win.
But it only weighs 20 ounces. It literally weighs more than a half a pound less. I was like, man, I got to jump on that stuff. Because that's...
Yeah, half a pound is a lot different than just that like half an ounce you're saving from the bag.
Yeah, this isn't 1 or 2 ounces. This is literally 12 ounces. This is 3/4 of a pound.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot of weight. And like my Waymark, I've got a Waymark pack that's the Waymark through, and it weighs like 36 ounces, but it's smaller, and it's smaller than the one I have from Z-Packs.
But it weighs more.
And I'm curious because
probably costs less.
Full transparency, because I don't want to come off like I have money bags. I'm just buying all this stuff.
You stole these backpacks.
But I contacted Waymark. I contacted Z-Packs because I'm trying to do research on this Ultra fabric and the Eco Pack and all that stuff. I did a video on it like several months ago, just talking about these new fabrics that are out. So I contacted Hilltop Packs. I contacted Z-Packs. I contacted Waymark, and I said, hey, I'm going to be doing this video probably in the fall, talking about
compare and contrast.
Yeah, comparing these packs and comparing the fabrics and all that stuff. And all of them are like, yeah, here, let's go ahead. You can have here's a backpack, you know, let us know how it goes, that kind of thing. And so I'm really curious to see, is this Ultra fabric, can it take a beating? You know, because the weight savings are insane.
I just can't believe it could. I don't know how comfortable 40 pounds would be. I mean, 40 pounds in any backpack that I've ever had is not comfortable. Even like an Osprey that has a really good frame, 40 pounds is still 40.
I'll ever get 40 pounds in any
I know,
one of them.
yeah, because right now you're talking about, you know, it weighing 10 pounds or something, you know, very light.
I mean, you're probably looking at even if I bring all my camera gear, I'll probably be 25. You know, that's even if I break, because my camera gear, I mean, we're using my camera right now. If you're watching right now, this is my camera. My camera weighs right around 1.5 pounds. And the lens that I'm using on it weighs right around 1.5 pounds. So
it's crazy.
So it's only 3 more pounds, you know, so it's not like I'm bringing like, some camera bodies are 3 pounds, you know? But I don't bring heavy stuff with my camera gear even. So I don't know. I'm curious, like, what kind of beating the fabrics can take. Because here's the thing with Dyneema that a lot of people talk about is it's crinkly, and you hear that crinkle noise the whole time. And some people don't think it's as durable as other people do. But this Ultra fabric is supposed to be 4 times as abrasion resistant as Dyneema.
Well,
Or right around the same weight. Right around the same weight as Dyneema. So I'm curious to see how the Z-Packs pack can take a beating. And the Eco Pack is very similar to like X-Pack material. So, and I've used X-Pack for years. My first like backpack that I got when I got started was the ULA Ulm 2.0. And that's still an incredible backpack to this day. I think it weighs like 30 ounces. It's framed. It's like 50 liters. And I did the whole shell toy trace with that backpack. And it took a beating. I've taken that thing through some stuff. Like,
usually
drug
the
it
first
across.
thing is like the mesh. That's usually the first thing to go.
And the mesh on that still has held up really well.
Wow.
But like I scraped that thing under like logs where you had to crawl under logs and stuff. And I've gone through briars where like thorns were grabbing at it as I was walking through and tearing my skin up and getting the backpack. And it's done awesome. And so I'm curious what the Eco Pack does. I'm curious what the Ultra does. And but I do like the fact that there are these fabric options that allow you to drop the weight of your pack, but not feel like you have to lose confidence in the quality of the pack in the process.
Yeah. I wonder what the markup is. I wonder if it's like 20% more, 30% more, or double.
I know the Z-Packs bag sells for around $400.
Yeah, that's expensive.
It's expensive.
if you're going to invest that kind of money into a pack, then you probably have already tried out other packs and you know what you like.
Well, it's kind of the reason I wanted to review it, because there are people that are probably interested, but they don't know anything about it, and they don't know real world can handle a beating. You know, like I'm going to take on the Foothills Trail. That's the pack I'm planning to take on the Foothills Trail, because I've used EcoPack for a while now, because I have the EcoPack Mile backpack from Waymark, which is the best day pack on the planet. Just, I will say that point blank. Like, and Waymark does not pay it. We are not sponsored by Waymark. Waymark has never paid me a penny.
Not yet.
And I'm going to tell you point blank, dude, that Waymark Mile is a beast. That is a fantastic day pack. But I am looking forward to getting this on the Foothills Trail. And just kind of, I mean, we're going to be out there for 7 days, I think we're going to do. We're going to do like 10 miles a day, 10, 11 miles a day, something like that.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And so I'm taking some newbies. So I don't want to like run them 15 miles a day and wear them out and all that. So we're going to do a full week. We're going to do Saturday to Saturday.
Crow said him and his son done it in 4 days. And I was like, I did it in 5, and it was tough. I even had to do like 25 miles last day.
Yeah.
So 7 days would be a good cruising, get to see the sights.
Right around 10 to 12 miles a day. Not real difficult. As long as you get up early in the morning, get going, take a break during lunch, let everybody rest for a little bit, get back on. We should be to camp by 4 or 5 o'clock.
Yeah, you'll be there even earlier.
Yeah.
And you're not going to have a problem finding a campsite because you'll be done earlier.
Yeah, and we're going in November, so the sun will be coming down a little earlier too. So like,
yeah, you lose some daylight.
So we will lose some daylight, and we're going further south, which means it'll come down even a little bit earlier.
So daylight savings time, when does that normally kick in? Because it's done, right? Like it's done. They changed the policy in the U.S. Like no more daylight savings time this year.
Is that this year that kicks in?
I don't know if it's it might be 2024. It could be a couple more years.
I can't remember if it's this year or next year, but I really hope they do, because if it's this year, that'd be awesome, because we'll get an extra hour of daylight we normally wouldn't have.
Yeah, because you fall forward.
Yeah,
right?
You lose an hour.
So you lose an hour of sleep.
Well, you know, you gain an hour of sleep, but you lose an hour of daylight.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was smarter, I understand these things.
But the big thing is I just want to get that pack out there and really get the opportunity to do some damage to it.
Well, also with the ultralight stuff, you're doing it the right way, because like your big 3, they're going to make up the majority of your weight, right? So some people do it. I attribute it to kind of like this. Some people, no offense to you, but you get a Honda Civic.
Offense, none at all.
Yeah, you get like a Honda Civic, and then you put like a dual turbo on it. You put on a spoiler and a body kit, and you're like, bro, you just spent like $3,000 extra. Why don't you get a vehicle with a V8 or something? Like, I mean, I don't know. I know there's all kinds of Honda Civic lovers out there, but it always seems like it's a crappy, cheap car, like an older one that somebody's trying to trick out. And I'm like, bro, the money that you're pouring into that, you should have started off with a good base and then maybe over time tricked it out. And I think the same thing is true with your big 3. Like you don't want to start off with something crappy and then try to cut weight somewhere else. You'd be like, you know what, instead of bringing this cook pot and this stove, I'm going to bring this other one, use the alcohol stove. And you're like, okay, well, here you're saving like 2 or 3 ounces. But if you had just switched out your tent,
you could have saved 2 pounds.
You could have saved 2 pounds.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like, you know, with the Honda Civic, instead of buying something that has like 85 horsepower stock, you could have bought like a big truck.
Well, like I said, I'm saving 3/4 of a pound just with the backpack.
Could be a stupid analogy. Don't write me.
No, I don't think it's a stupid analogy.
Send your messages to John.
But seriously, 3/4 of a pound just on the backpack.
Yeah, and you add those up over your sleeping bag, your pad, your tent, and your pack, and all of a sudden you're saving tons of extra weight.
You're saving, you know, like I said, a lot of people's big 3 weighs right around 10 pounds.
But you're also spending more money.
Yeah.
So it's give and take. But you don't have to.
But it's like I said, too, like, you know, a lot of people think that, and maybe some YouTubers are like that, where it's just like, I want to make money off people, so I'm going to get the expensive. Honestly, what I like to do is I like to get gear that people might be interested in and see if I can try it out, and then be able to give people real-world experience to see if they actually want to spend that kind of money. Yeah. Because here's the thing, the R-Call, the one that I get, they make it in Robic, they make it in Dyneema, and they make it in Ultra.
You just choose your fabric whenever you're ringing up.
Yeah, and so I'm hoping to be able to try it out in such a way where I'd be like, okay, yeah, it's actually worth the $400. You know, like maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. And the thing is, there's no strings attached with Z-Packs. It's not like they're expecting me to show them a video. They just, no questions asked, gave me the backpack.
Yeah.
And so I get the opportunity to test this thing and then be able to say, okay, yeah, this is actually worth the money. Or, maybe you don't need to spend this much. Maybe you can get the aerobic one and gain maybe 3 or 4 ounces, but save, how much money.
Yeah, there has to be a point there where those intersect.
Yeah, and I think for me with a lot of the stuff, I don't know about you, but a lot of the stuff that I do with my backpacking gear and videos and things like that it's always been about, okay, if I'm going to spend money, is this worth the money I would spend on it?
Right.
And if it's not, then I'm not going to do a video on it.
No, that's number one, man. Is it worth the cost?
Yeah. And sometimes I'll put budget gear out there and I will say in it, now, I don't know if I would use this myself, but if you're just trying to find something cheap, this is an option for you. Like the Aegis Max.
The sleeping bag?
Sleeping bag.
I still use it in the summer. It works for me.
Yeah, you love it. I hate that thing.
Yeah, it does have a little tight foot box.
Well, I have like Cavzillas. Like
yeah.
I don't have calves, I have cows. And dude, they just don't fit in that sleeping bag. It doesn't matter what I do. And I there's not many times when I get claustrophobic, but for some reason that sleeping bag's claustrophobic. But here's the thing. It's super inexpensive. It weighs 14 ounces, and it'll keep you warm in the summer.
Yeah, it does its job.
Yeah, and so for some people, it's perfect. It's just not for me. But this backpack, I may get at the end of the summer and be like, this thing is great, but I'm going to look at people like, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
You may not want to spend your money on this.
Better be pretty passionate about backpacking.
Yeah. If you're serious about backpacking, especially if you're gonna do long distances, maybe this is the guy for you. But for the average person, maybe don't spend money like this.
Well, there's so much diversity in backpacking.
Right.
Like everybody has different needs. I don't mean diversity as in like the traditional, like culture, skin color, that kind of stuff. It's all about like the style of backpacking that you like.
Yeah.
It's so diverse. Some people.
If you're someone's gonna do like 4, maybe 5 miles tops,
you might want a 105-liter backpack.
Hours. Yeah, you want to spend hours at the campsite. Dude, have a heavy pack. 4 or 5 miles. Yeah, it'll drive you nuts for a few miles, but you're gonna be done so fast. 4 or 5 miles is less than 3 hours of hiking, typically. Unless you're like in the Linville Gorge, then that's gonna be like 7 hours. I learned that lesson. But no, if you're backpacking, you're talking 2 miles an hour on average.
Yeah, that's normal. But like you said,
people.
It's circumstantial. Like if you're doing a 14er, then it might be 1 mile an hour. But if you're walking around and it's flat, like maybe you're doing pictured rocks,
or even if
you're
you're
3 miles an hour.
Even if you're doing the Red River Gorge, you're talking 300 or 400 foot climbs.
Yeah,
none of them, and some are pretty steep. Some of them can be pretty steep.
It's not like the Smokies.
No, it's
not
like
you're climbing
Smokies.
2,500 foot.
Yeah, it's not like Yellowstone.
No.
we're you're not talking like crazy elevation. You're talking 2 miles an hour. So if you're someone who's just going to backpack 4 or 5 miles, get you an Osprey pack that weighs like 5 pounds but can carry a buttload of stuff.
Comfortable too. I still haven't found a backpack with, if I had the same amount of weight, let's say it was like 25 pounds or above, every backpack that I've tried, the Osprey, even though it's the heaviest of all the backpacks I own, and I own a lot of backpacks because of YouTube.
Yeah.
And that one, dude, every time I'm going on I'm taking 35 pounds this trip. We got stakes. I'm setting up. We got a base camp we're hiking out of. That's why I took to New Hampshire.
Can I tell you what, man?
What?
That ULA Ohm 2.0 is still one of the most stupid, comfortable backpacks.
Built sturdy.
It just built well. It's just built well, and like
sometimes
I love the Chicken Tramper. I love that pack. I've been using it.
Great too.
I've been using it for over a year now, and love it. Great pack. The Waymark Through is a nice pack. It's really comfortable. I got the light, but it was the wrong size. It just didn't fit me right, and so I traded it out and got the Through instead. But that's a good pack too. But that Ohm 2.0, man, that thing is, it's just like home. You know how like sometimes you put things on, this is home.
That's why I feel with the Osprey, but it's also my first pack. So maybe there's some nostalgia.
I bet you there is, because the Ohm was my first. Like I had an Osprey Strato 50, and I used it with Kilimanjaro and I used it for some little weekend things early on. But the first when I did the Sheltoe, I did my first real intense backpacking. It was at Ulm 2.0.
Fell in love.
It just made me love at first sight, man. You know how it is. That may be the same thing with the Z-Packs. We'll see what happens with it. It could be the same thing, man.
Keep us updated.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got one more episode. We're gonna be filming and recording today. Right now, we're gonna get off of here because I'm gonna take you to a taco place here in Lexington. Gourmet tacos.
Oh, treat me,
bro.
Treat yourself.
It's going to be so good. And so sorry, folks, but we're going to get off here because we're going to go eat tacos. And we will catch you on the next one. We'll see you guys later.
Adios, folks.